Aletheia, divine, all blessed, peace and love, light and illumination. This is in response to your question, Crystal Fortunes, and indeed I am humbled and honored at this opportunity to assist you in your crystal work. In response to your question, how do you utilize your stones for actualization and materialization? And indeed that is an important question in beginning any project, any endeavor, any spiritual pursuit. What exactly is it that you are seeking to achieve, and what is the ultimate outcome that you are open to receiving from the divine creators and the spiritual universe? So let's choose a subject, if you will. Let's say, for instance, we were looking to manifest in health. So we would want to choose our tools to address whatever that specific health issue or blockage, if you will, is. And let's say we're working with ourselves, we have to decide that, or are we working with other people? As in remote healing, that also would affect our choice in stones. Now, before I proceed, I must say, again, I'm asked, does size matter? Size is relevant in that when we are really begin to move out of the realm of jewelry, adornment, and jewelry and adornment that are made from precious stones, semi-precious stones, crystals, indeed carry a charge, carry a vibration, often pre-programmed even in the sculpting. Anytime you add man's touch to something, man's imprint on something, it changes the pattern, the vibration, if you will, particularly as it relates to mineral, crystal, and stone. So when dealing with more higher vibratory activities, spiritual manifestation, healing manifestation, remote healing, prosperity, things of that nature that require some design, some planning, some aggressive approach, it's always better to go with the more natural stone, the stone that has not been tampered as much by man, the specimen quality stone. And understand, the specimen quality stone and jewelry quality stones are very different. Jewelry quality stones have often been, again, polished, sculpted, weathered in some way through technology, whether it be inside a tumbler with water and sand, or some other form of modification, thus changing the natural imprint on the stone. Now, when we look at the natural specimen, we're talking about a stone that has been untouched by man. So the natural facets, the natural points, windows are all still in place. This particular piece even has, see if I can get a better picture of that, even has a series of babies of various shapes and sizes here along the side of the crystals, both in and out. This is a natural specimen. This hasn't been cut, this hasn't been polished, and you can of course get this at your average mineral crystal retailer, but more assuredly with joy at earthodysseynola.com in the French Quarter here in New Orleans. So size matters in that regard. Quite often minerals, crystal, even gemstones that are utilized in jewelry have been modified greatly from their original size and their original vibration. Indeed, even the crystal ball is often a man-made production. Now, spheres do form naturally in creation, and we do get some examples of those, as with this amethyst Devic piece here. But quite often, they've been polished, they've been modified to give it a more symmetrical appearance, as well as to bring out the light and or color of the sphere, of the crystal ball. And they serve a purpose because of that. The energy is much more muted, is softer in a sense. So they play a much more powerful role in vision, in seeing, in scrying into interdimensional, multi-dimensional realities and points of awareness. You would not necessarily use a crystal ball, if you will, for healing work or for specific ritual ceremonial work. So you have to get some clarity, if you will, on what it is first that you want to do, and then work on how do I manifest that. And in my next video, I'm going to talk more specifically about the variety of crystal, specifically quartz, because there is such a multitude of minerals out there within the crystalline family. It will be impossible for me to get them all into one video. So I'm going to work primarily with clear quartz. When I refer to crystal, we're going to be primarily referring to clear quartz. And clear quartz even comes in varieties which will have what we call inclusions of other minerals present within the stone. Here is an example of a included clear quartz sphere or clear quartz crystal ball that has either hematite or carnelian present on the inside, which is that reddish sandy looking mineral that you see present on the inside. And of course, amethyst does belong to the crystal, quote unquote, crystal family. Fluorite belongs to the crystal family. So we're going to primarily stick with the clear quartz for clarity as well as availability. The availability of the clear quartz in various shapes and geometrical patterns is much more widely accessible to many people. So we will look primarily at that. So when you begin to get into utilizing these stones for very specific endeavors of healing, manifesting, projecting energy, as well as receiving of energy, messages, communications from within the spirit realm, it is indeed important to utilize the more specimen quality stones. And typically, as sort of a guide, you want to work with stones that fit comfortably within your hand. This stone could very well be applied in meditation. It could be used in ceremonial work. It could be used in healing work, where we would work directly with the client in a hands-on or healing hand form, as well as remotely by getting in our meditative position and projecting that energy outward to the receiver of the energy. Now, when you begin to work in remote healing, projection, you want crystals, and even some forms of laying on of hands healing using crystals, you want them to be not only comfortable to your hand, but slightly longer to your hand to sort of extend the crystal into your outer auric field. Our auras don't end and begin with our physical body. Indeed, a great deal of that energy is just outside the physical body, within the space right outside of your body. And this is often in Reiki and in healing hands, the energy field in which is manipulated in order to create the healing. So we want a crystal that fits comfortably in your hand but reaches into that realm outside of your immediate physical body, and also to allow it to reach into the auric and energy field of the person that you may be working with in a more direct healing scenario, as opposed to a remote scenario when the person is obviously in a very different location. Another popular and commonly found variety is a generator. And what signifies a generator is generally it will have 6 sides and a point or a termination, what we call a termination, a single termination, as opposed to a crystal with double terminations. This one has a natural point on both ends, making it a double terminator. This is a single point. I'm going to get used to getting these crystals right in position. This is a single point. Now it does have a self-healed opposing end, so this could qualify as a double terminator with a self-healed termination. This is a natural generator, and they have 6 sides generally, a termination, and a natural foundation. Now you can find these commonly at many shops that have been modified only minimally, in that the top portion will be natural, but the bottom will be obviously smoothed and evened out to give it some stability. And those still qualify as viable, usable generators. But it's important that the upper portions be as natural as possible in generators, so that the records are not disturbed, the energy patterns and fields are not disturbed. Just as with our human existence, excuse me, our knowledge, our wisdom is greatly recorded in our experience. So indeed, a great deal of that information, that programming, that experience is recorded within the walls and the surfaces of the stone. So you want the more natural specimen quality stone. And surprisingly, specimens can often be much more affordable than polished gemstone quality stones. I have amethyst. This is a good example. This is a huge amethyst sphere compared to what you would find in a ring or earring or piece of jewelry. Yet you would quite often pay hundreds of dollars for a gem quality amethyst, where I believe I might have paid $100 for just this sphere. And you can get really clear, pristine quality specimens and then have them made into jewelry, as I've done with this ring, which I designed and made myself, and this pendant here, which is also specimen quality terminated quartz. I just had the silver added on later. So when dealing with manifestation, again, Crystaline Fourtunes, to be direct to your question, you want to be clear about what it is that you're seeking to manifest, whether it be spiritual manifestation or actual real world, physical world manifestation, and then choose your stone or stones in accordance with that. I'm quickly running out of time, so I will come back with another video, and I'm sure a few more videos with a further and more in-depth look at how to bring about actualization and manifestation with your semi-precious, precious gemstone. They're all precious to me because I understand the power of the mineral kingdom. Our stones, minerals, quartz, crystals, and various other implements. Until next time, divine all blessing, peace and love, joy and prosperity. Ashe.